This lesson is part of our 5th grade physical science unit, Structures and Properties of Matter. Our learning target for this lesson is to measure and graph quantities to provide evidence that regardless of the type of change that occurs when heating, cooling, or mixing substances, the total weight of matter is conserved. In other words, we will be able to use evidence from a scientific experiment to prove that when matter is heated, cooled, or mixed and changes state, the total weight will stay the same. We will be viewing a scientific investigation to answer the question, does the state of matter change the weight of something? In the experiment, 3 different types of solids, ice, chocolate, and butter, will be weighed. Then each will be melted and weighed again to see if the weight increases, decreases, or stays the same when they change from a solid to a liquid. On this slide, you can see the question this experiment will attempt to answer. The materials used are ice, chocolate, butter, 3 bowls, a hot plate, a scale, and a freezer. The steps of the experiment are listed in the procedure. A hypothesis is a statement of what we expect the result to be. The graph shows how much each weighs as a solid. Do you think the weight of each liquid will be greater, less, or equal to the weight of the solid? That is your hypothesis. Now we are ready to view the experiment.
Sorry to seem preoccupied. I seem to have lost the bag of ice I needed for this experiment. I set it down here a few hours ago, but now I can only find the bag. Who in the world would just take the ice and leave a bag? Good thing I have an extra one in the freezer. Wait, I think I know what happened. The ice wasn't stolen, it melted. How could I forget all about the states of matter? Thankfully, that is exactly what we're experimenting with today. Today we'll be investigating, observing, and graphing changes in matter. To begin our experiment, we must ask ourselves, does the state of matter change the weight of something? To do this, we will investigate the mass of 3 different items as solids and liquids. We will first use this scale to measure items before and after they have changed states of matter. Along with the scale, here is what else we will need. Butter, ice, a chocolate bar, clear cups, our hot plate, and a freezer in order to cause our items to either melt or freeze. We'll use a chart to help us remember the measurements we keep. Each of these items are currently a solid. To start the experiment, we will measure each item in their solid form. We can now see that the butter, as a solid, weighs 162 grams. The ice weighs 173 grams. And finally, the chocolate weighs 113 grams. Now we're going to check the weight of all 3 substances as liquids. We can see that the butter still weighs 162 grams. The melted chocolate is still 113 grams. And last but not least, our melted ice is still 173 grams. Now let's test one more thing. What happens if we mix all of the liquids together? Will mixing the substances change the outcome? Buttery chocolate. Let's put this in the freezer. Now that this is a solid again, it's time to weigh it one last time to see if there's a change in the weight or mass. The mixture still weighs 448 grams, so there is no change. Today I learned a lot about the change in states of matter. Regardless of the type of change that occurs when heating, cooling, or mixing substances, the total weight of matter doesn't change. That's why your cup doesn't overflow when your ice cubes melt. The cup of liquid, including your ice cubes, all stay the same weight. Well, friends, it's time to say goodbye, but it's always a pleasure. Come back anytime you want to experiment with science.
Was your hypothesis correct? This experiment showed that the weight of the solid matter will stay the same when it is melted into a liquid. The table below shows the data that proves this. The experiment also showed if we combine the three liquids and freeze them back to a solid, the total weight also will remain the same. We can create a graph to show the results of our experiment. The title of the graph is at the top and shows what the graph represents. At the bottom of the graph are the three types of matter we used in our experiment. On the vertical line, the numbers represent the weight in grams. Use the key to find out what the green bars show. The green bars show the weight of each substance as a solid. The purple bars show the weight of each substance as a liquid. The graph shows that the weight of each stayed the same. Let's check how we are doing on understanding our learning target. The question in this investigation asked, does changing the state of matter change the weight of something? Which answer correctly answers this question? A popsicle will weigh more as a solid than when it is melted into a liquid. B, a popsicle will weigh less as a solid than when it is melted into a liquid. Or C, a popsicle will weigh the same as a solid as it does when it is melted into a liquid. The correct answer is C. This experiment showed us that when a solid melts into a liquid, the weight will remain the same. Click Next to take the quiz for this lesson.